everyone, Nick from Vant Trading here, coming to you with another updated trading platform review. Now today I'm going to be going through ThinkorSwim. This is TD Ameritrade's desktop trading application. I'm going to be going through it live with you, and I'm going to be covering all of these things you see here next to me, and that is the trading fees, account types and minimums, their charting, hotkeys, share locates, simulated or paper trading, mobile and web-based trading, their API and custom coding, executions, customer support, and our overall platform review. Now I'm going through this mainly because a lot of things have changed since we've done our previous platform reviews. Some regulations have changed, rules have changed. Heck, from the time that I've filmed this to when you're watching it now, there could be other things that have changed. ThinkorSwim in particular has gotten a lot better at some things. They've also gotten a little worse in some areas. So I'm going to be coming to you with an in-depth analysis. I'm going to try to remain as objective as possible, but I will be putting some subjectivity into this to give you some of my own experiences and flavoring. But I want you to walk away with a good idea as whether this platform is right for you. Because let's be honest, every trading platform out there is not going to be for every trader. We all have different needs and necessities and goals and trading styles, and what may work for one may not work for another. So I'm going to be reviewing ThinkorSwim primarily from a day trading perspective. I'll be giving each section an A through F grade, kind of nuanced and subjective there, but I want you to be able to kind of ground it and compare it with something else. And I'm going to be comparing this with a lot of other trading platforms out there. I want you to know whether this is the trading platform for you, whether you're going to be day trading, swing trading, trading options, or whatever. So let's dive on into it. I don't want to waste any more of your time. And first off, we're going to be talking about trading fees, because this is something that's changed recently in the industry. There's a lot of new stuff out there. And so I want you to get a pretty good understanding of, well, what are the trading fees in ThinkorSwim? Here's what they show you immediately from their website. Let me move myself over here. So this is directly pulled from their website. Now, they have no trading fees largely. This is one of the largest changes in the industry. A lot of commissions out there are now free. ThinkorSwim is now free for non-professional clients. Commissions are free. They used to charge you $10 per share per trade. That is gone. That's fantastic. You have free baseline data and news. That is huge. This is something that a lot of trading platforms don't necessarily offer you, or if they do, it might be convoluted, or they might make you pay for it. Now, there are broker-assisted fees if you have them help you execute trades, and there could be some small costs per options contract, or if you need them to send you paperwork or something like that. But largely for your trading fees, there are none. It's going to be very minimal. And this is a very large industry-wide change, but it's something that ThinkorSwim has adopted, so we need to grade them appropriately. Now, obviously, as you can see, if you are a professional client, if you are a hedge fund or some other company or some kind of professional client, you will have some fees within there because you're going to have some other rules and regulations within that. So ThinkorSwim's gotten a lot better with this. We used to be really hard on them because they used to charge you a lot. Compared to some of the others in the industry, it used to be kind of rough. Now, you can do your own research on their website. You can dive into all of the different nuanced fees and different methods and things that they offer you for a charge, but they've really rooted out a lot of those issues. And that is why we give ThinkorSwim's trading fees an A. It's really non-existent. They're really cheap, and you're not going to have to pay to play, especially if you're just the average typical trader. If you're a professional client, you may need to weigh this a little differently, but I'm giving you this perspective from the average person. Now, next up, let's look at account types and minimums. Because look, every different platform isn't going to allow you to open up the same types of accounts. There are differences, and that's why I want you to be able to examine this. So let's take a look here, and we're going to start it off with the page from their actual website. This is what they actually say that they offer you. Standard accounts, retirement accounts, education accounts, specialty accounts, managed portfolios. There's actually a decent amount in here, a decent amount of variability. And the best part is they don't have an account minimum. This is something that a lot of trading platforms still might have. You might need to submit that $2,000, $10,000, $25,000. So make sure you do your homework there. But ThinkorSwim, for as long as I can remember, has had no account minimum. It's great because I use ThinkorSwim personally for their charts. And so I can throw $5 into an account, be able to use the trading platform and all of its nuances, not have to pay any fees, and be able to utilize the full extent of their tools and platforms. Now, they have all of these different types of accounts. What else is out there? Well, you can open up the standard accounts, whatever. They do have some margin requirements, so keep that in mind. Most platforms will. It's a regulation. It's a safety thing. Their margin accounts, I believe, require $2,000 in funding, and that can also depend on if you're writing naked options and whatever. So last I checked, the standard margin that they offer you is the pretty much standard overnight 2-to-1 leverage and intraday 4-to-1 leverage. That's pretty good. That's pretty standard for the industry, and that's what you'll find on a lot of trading platforms out there. The fact that they don't have a trading minimum is great. They don't offer you the widest selection of opening up different types of accounts, but that's okay because most people aren't looking for crazy types of accounts out there, especially on ThinkorSwim. But what they do offer you is good enough, and their margin is pretty good, and they offer you the relative norms for the industry. So that's why we give them their accounts minimums and account types an A-. It's pretty good. Honestly, it probably could be an A. I'm trying to give you that nuanced, well, it's almost a B, but not quite, but it's still pretty good, and it's definitely standard and above standard with the industry. Now let's talk about one of, I think, the biggest draws for ThinkorSwim, in my opinion. This is why a lot of traders in our hedge fund use ThinkorSwim for their charts, and that is, I just spoiled it. They're charting. The charting in ThinkorSwim is actually really good. It's going to really give you a lot of nuance, and you're going to be able to do a lot of stuff. So let's dive on into the charting itself. Okay, so we're looking here at ThinkorSwim, and this is what the actual platform looks like. Look around you. Look at everything. There's all sorts of bells and whistles. First off, I want to hone in on one thing, and that is their charting. Their charting is actually pretty good. Now, it has gotten a little iffy sometimes in terms of connectivity. There might be a hiccup or two, but you experience that with every platform. They have really good charts. In fact, they're charting so good that it might seem a little daunting at first. You might look at this and say, oh my God, there's so many bells and whistles. What am I supposed to be doing? What am I looking at here? But it's very customizable and very user-friendly. You can go into these charts and you can set a flex grid. And within this flex grid, you could have, charts within here. The charting is going to be really good if you have multiple monitors, because then you can break these out. You can take these flex grids, you can detach them, and you can put a flex grid in every monitor. And then from there, you can get really crazy and you can make sure you're monitoring your different stocks. Not so good if you only have one monitor or a laptop to go off of, but by far the interactivity and the user friendliness of the charts is fantastic. If you go in here and I just give you a couple examples, you can switch around and customize these charts really, really easily. And I can go in here. In fact, let's close this sidebar real quick so you can see a little better here. They have an enormous amount of studies. I'm talking more studies than I realized I could have thought of. I can go in here and add all of these studies, alpha studies, crossover studies, LBR studies, whatever the hell that is. I can find my typical moving averages and I can customize those. I can get all of these different licensed and pre-made studies, and I could fill my chart with so many drawings and studies that my eyes would bleed. Obviously, we don't recommend you do that, but they offer far more in the ways of studies and indicators than pretty much any other platform out there. And it's gotten really good. You can also change the customization. If I go into this setting wheel in here, I can look in here and I can change all sorts of stuff. I can change if it shows orders. I can have it sync crosshairs. I can change my time axis, the appearance. Do you want the candlestick chart? Would you rather have, line charts, area charts, whatever the hell some of those charts they're saying are? It gives you a lot of variability. You can actually have it show you corporate action. So if I pull up, say, Apple, I can see when their earnings were, when their splits were, and I can hover over it and get a little bit of information on that. That's really good. If you look down the right side here, I can pull up the news, and the news within here is going to correlate to whatever ticker I have pulled up on that chart. That's really good and really convenient. Like I said, this can seem daunting at first, but it's very customizable and user-friendly. I can pull up level 2, if you know what level 2 is, time in sales, and hell, if I want to get kind of funny money with it, I could put the big buttons. Let's buy market and sell market. And, you can get a little customization with it, and you can kind of change some stuff around. There's also a lot of drawings. I can get in here and I can quickly draw channels. I can draw Fibonacci fans. I could draw whatever the hell a Fibonacci spiral is, Andrew's pitchfork. A lot of drawings I can do in here, so I can manipulate and do a lot of things. I can highlight things. I can draw my trend lines pretty easily. And there's a lot of maneuverability and customization in here. We love the charts. We think you can do a whole lot with them. Sometimes you can integrate them with other software and other trading platforms. Not all the time, and that can get a little dodgy sometimes, but there's a lot you can do on here. Like I said, a lot of stylization changes. You can show grids if you want. You can get rid of the grids. It really is obviously up to you. I'm not going to dive in too much and show you all of the different things you can do in here with the charts, because that would take forever, and it would just become a video about charts. But you can change the layout. You could make it a 3x3 grid setup, or you can just or you can just stick with the one chart. And if you have one platform or one monitor, you want whatever your customization preference is. The charting is really, really good. It's something that we really like about ThinkorSwim. Now, it has, like I said, gotten a little dodgy with the connectivity. We've had charts drop before. We've had some connection issues. Happens with all trading platforms, and the competition has started to catch up to ThinkorSwim. In my opinion, ThinkorSwim was kind of the standard for charting. But, we've had, TradingView is a web-based charting system, and there's a lot of other trading platforms out there that do catch up to ThinkorSwim now. So they don't have this big Goliath lead on charts as you might think anymore, but they're still really good. And if this is the kind of user friendliness that you want from a chart, then this might be for you. That's why we give ThinkorSwim's charting an A-. It's really good. It's still, I would say, top of the industry, at least compared to most of the ones I've seen out there. Typically, the thought process is when you have a trading platform, you're going to be deciding between charting or between executions and kind of trading ins and outs. There really is not many platforms out there that marry the both. So if you want a good trading platform with good charts, ThinkorSwim might be for you. So let's take a moment and just review what we have so far. Looking pretty good for ThinkorSwim. Trading fees looking good. Account types and minimums and charting all looking pretty good. This is where ThinkorSwim is, at least meeting industry expectations, if not exceeding them. So looking really good. Now we're going to get into some of the nitty-gritty with day trading. And this is why ThinkorSwim might not be the best trading platform out there for you if you're a day trader. So first off, we're going to talk about hotkeys. If you don't know what hotkeys are, it's essentially keyboard shortcuts, ways to get in and out of trades and trade really quickly. So let's do that now. When you pull up ThinkorSwim, the hotkeys are not good. They're really, really not good. They're very, very basic. They're not customizable. You're just going to be using them essentially to navigate around the platform, move in and out, maybe market order, and that's about it. It's not going to be used for customization, for changing things, drawing things, changing sizing, anything like that. It's very point and clicky still on this platform, so it's not the best. So if you're a day trader that needs speed, if you're a scalper, if you're someone who doesn't want to use market orders, this is not the platform for you, at least at the moment. So I'm going to pull up these settings real quick. Oh, that's the wrong one. So if I pull up the settings, and I go to the application settings, and I go over to hotkeys, there you are. This is all of the hotkeys. I cannot customize them to my knowledge. I cannot build my own. I cannot really get too nitty-gritty with them. I can use them to navigate through tabs on the application. I could use them to buy market, buy at the ask or buy at the bid, or sell market, sell at the ask, sell at the bid. That's it. Now there are, flattening positions and stuff, which is good. Reversing positions, that's actually pretty good. And it's stuff that they've tried to improve upon, but they really haven't devoted that much time to, which is why hotkeys are probably, they're not even probably, they're definitely not somewhere that ThinkorSwim shines. It's definitely not a reason for you to do it. So if if you're looking for hotkeys to really dive on in and get crazy with it, this isn't going to be for you. So that is why we give hotkeys a C-. They're just not really the best. They're not that intuitive. They're not really customizable. You can't do that much with them. You can navigate and you can do some things, and they've gotten a little better with it, but not the best. Next up, let's look at locating shares, because if you are a day trader, this is something that you're going to experience absolutely. Locating shares is not good. And if you don't know what that is, it means if you want to short sell a stock, long story short, you need to borrow those shares from someone. And many platforms have within application systems for locating shares. ThinkorSwim does not. You have to reach out to them. To my knowledge, it has to be over the phone or maybe through their in-app chat. I've never been able to find the shares that I want. I've tried to test this a few times. I don't day trade on ThinkorSwim, so it's possible that there are some new nuances that I don't know about. But to my knowledge, I've not found any fast method at getting shares, especially if they're going to be very hard to borrow. So if you are someone who day trades and who wants to short these low float stocks that are moving around and you want to be able to locate shares, ThinkorSwim's not going to be for you. It is very difficult. It's not in-app, to my knowledge, yet still, and so we give their locating shares a C. It's just fine. You can at least try to. You can call them or chat with them and say, hey, I'd like some shares. What do you got for me? And, we'll see what you get. So now let's talk about simulated trading. If you don't know what simulated trading, it's also, in our opinions, like paper trading. You can open up an account and you can do whatever you want with it. You can you get $100,000 of fake money, and you can open up this account on paper trading for free. And then from there, you can pretty much use the full extent of the platform as if you were trading with live money. First of all, they have it. I'm not going to sit here and switch to a paper trading account in front of you, but it's going to look exactly like this. We've used it before. We've gotten our hands in there a little bit. Now, keep in mind, the simulated trading starts out with delayed data, but you can call and request real-time data. You might have to link it to a real account. Just put $5 in an account if you want, and then give it a try. I think the simulated trading, the fact that they have a paper trading account system is really good, because not many platforms even bother doing that. And so you can get in here, you can use the charts, you can try to manipulate the system, you test the drawings, the studies, see if it's something that you like. So if you're not sure about this platform and you need to know more, you can open up a paper trading account, see if the platform's for you, see if it works for you. And if it's not, you close the paper trading account. And like I said, they give you that fake $100,000 and you can trade around and show your friends, hey, I made $50,000 in Monopoly money. And, you can brag a little bit. But the platform is going to look and feel exactly the same. So it's actually pretty good. It's actually really good that they have that. And it's definitely worth exploring if you want to dive into this platform or anything that I didn't cover even more. And it's exceptionally rare that they have that. So we give it an A. Look, they have it. Not many people do. So that's really, really good in our books. And congrats to ThinkorSwim for having one. And it's really good for new traders. So let's kind of recap where we are now. Still pretty good. Like I said, this is not the day trading platform extraordinaire. We are not talking about the fanciest platform out there with the craziest moves and the craziest things you can do. And so it does have some good components. If you're a new trader using that simulated trading, their charting, that's really good. They're above industry standard with a lot of this. But there is more to cover. So now let's talk about mobile web trading, API and their custom coding, their executions, which is something to keep in mind, customer support, and then I want to dive into some of the ins and outs of the platform itself. Now, let's rock and roll and kick it off with mobile or web trading, because this is actually interesting. It's interesting in my opinion. So they do have a mobile app. You can trade from the mobile app. You can manage your account from the mobile app. You can log on a web browser like Chrome and execute trades and manage positions from there. It's pretty good. They do have some good interactivity. I've not used it that much. I've looked at it. I've looked at some reviews and some videos on it, so I'm not the most familiar with it. But it seems to give you everything you want to do. I just took these screenshots straight from ThinkorSwim. And if you look at the one all the way at the end there, they even have Fibonacci retracements on there, so you can actually do some drawing. So it seems like they knew that their charting was a benefit. They knew that they're really good at charting and drawings, and they tried to put that to the best of their ability onto their app, which is actually kind of cool. And you can do this on the iPad. Hell, it looks like you even do it on an Apple Watch. That's kind of cool, actually. And so you can make trades on the go. You can trade from your laptop. Their web-based browser's fine. It's like any other platform in terms of executing trades via like Google Chrome or something and logging into your account. But the mobile app itself is actually pretty good. Like I said, I haven't used it that much. I just kind of fiddled with it just to get a feeling for it, but it's pretty intuitive. They don't give you all these tiny things, little widgets, and it's pretty user-friendly. They definitely put some time and effort into it. I didn't have any issues with it crashing. I didn't use it that much. I don't trade on ThinkorSwim. I just use them for their charts. But if I wanted to pull up a quick chart on my phone, the mobile app may not be the worst option out there. So that's why we give their mobile and web trading an A-. It's actually pretty good. Now let's talk about another thing, and this is actually pretty interesting. A lot of traders out there don't necessarily pay attention to this. They don't worry about this, but this is, something that is definitely worth noting nonetheless, and that is their API and custom coding software. I am talking about, if you want to code together a little strategy or code together your own indicator or your own alert system or some kind of system like that to help you make a gray box, do they offer it, and what is the extent of that and the user friendliness of that? So let's dive on back into the platform here because I want to actually show it to you. So say, for example, let me just get on up into here. I am going to first off pull up a strategy here, and look, you can manipulate strategies within. This isn't really API or custom software, but it's actually not too bad. So what I can do is I want to create a code, and bam, I can now get in here and type in, let's say I want to make an alert system that alerts me if a stock does X, Y, and Z. So, I'll give it its name, alert, I spelled that wrong, but whatever. And then if you know coding, then you can probably work your way through it. And they actually have some pre-made stuff in here on the right, hiding on daily, volume, lower, bars, between. So they do some of the work for you. Now, here's the issue. It's kind of a weird coding system. It's not as intuitive as some of the other ones by any means. It might take a little bit of frustration as you kind of wrestle with it, try to figure out what exactly their syntax is and their language they're using in some cases. There's a lot of nuance in using it. But look, that's kind of in every trading platform to an extent. You can use this just as to create a scanner for yourself. You can use it to help test strategies. You can actually do a decent amount here. Now, we haven't used this much. We have our own system and our own API stuff that we use on other softwares. But, we messed around with this a little bit, and we do have some that we use. For example, if you ever watch our midday shows, Mike on his charts has it automatically code and put in the 15-minute high, the first 15 minutes of the day, the high and the low, and it shows him on every chart with the first 15 minutes of the day what the high and the low are, and he uses that on some strategies and to get some inflection points and so on. And he was able to custom code that through ThinkorSwim, through this software right here. And it took a little bit of wrestling, and there's a lot of forums out there. There's a lot of people willing to help. You could probably pay someone to make you whatever you want out there. I believe Mike also paid someone to custom code RVol on there, which is relative volume, for his ThinkorSwim charts. So there's a lot you can do out there. It's just going to take some time. If this is a foreign concept to you, probably don't worry about that here because it's it's a little complicated especially for new traders. But they have it. They have some kind of coding system. You can make your own stuff out there, and it's actually pretty cool that they have that. Not many platforms do, and not many try to make it as user-friendly as they try to. So that's why we're going to give their API and custom coding software a B. Not, the most mind-blowing thing we've ever seen. There are better softwares out there for it, but it's definitely a plus that they have this. And, they've tried to put effort in it, and they usually have someone on staff who can try to help you and try to give you some feedback if you're a little confused. Now let's talk about something else with day trading, and that is executions. This is, how can you actually execute your trades? Is executing your trades easy? Customizing those executions, what is that like? I hate to say that this is like pretty much every other day trading aspect of ThinkorSwim where something falls apart. ThinkorSwim does not have very good customizable order routing. Yes, you can, limit and market and buy, and I can get in here and I can edit stuff. But, in terms of routing customization and ECN customization, dark pool routing, anything like that, it's not the best. Typically, if you're trying to use speed on here, it's still going to take you some time to, I believe you're going to have to point and click on a lot of this. You can't just boom, boom, boom on the keyboard because, look, in day trading, if speed is your key and if you need speed with your trading strategies, you need to be able to trade and change things without lifting your hands off the keyboard. ThinkorSwim doesn't really do a good job of that in our opinion. Your order routing is not very customizable. And, look, to be fair, they claim on their website that 96.5% of their orders are filled at better than the national best bid and offer. They also claim that, they have a half a second average fill time. They claim that they find that they save people on a lot of routing fees and things like that through the system that they use. It's very possible. That is very possible. And they might be very adequate for you as a day trader. I'm not saying you can't trade on these guys. You can't market order. You can't send your limits through these guys. In the little bit I've tried with the lack of hotkeys, that's definitely part of it. It gets a little hard, and I kept feeling myself touching back to the mouse, and I don't like doing that. It kind of slows things down, and I'm a little bit of a faster trader at times. But if you're someone who can take their time and place their limits in, and you have time to set up your orders, I'm not saying you're a slow trader, but you have times to place your orders ahead of time, then this might not necessarily be an issue for you. But you can't go in and change, well, I want to route to ARCA, or I want to do this, and I want to have this crazy order where it buys and does this and does all this other crazy stuff. The customization there is not the same, and so their executions are okay. And look, this might be a little rough. I might be grading them a little harshly here, but we give their executions a C. And this is also just kind of compared to some of the day trading standards. And this is, like I said, from a day trading centric perspective. You'll get more routability and customization and ease of access and ease of executions on some of the other platforms. I can't vouch for if they fill you better or if this place is quicker than that platform. That would take some crazy scientific testing, I feel like. But, in terms of day trading and compared to some of the others, it's not the best. Let's talk about something else, and that is customer support. So customer support's a decent part. It's something that we're all going to probably experience at some point. Hopefully not, but let's be honest. We're all probably at some point going to have to call customer support, say, hey, what's going on? My order's not working, or how can I get shares of this, or what's going on with my platform, or you need a question answered, and so you may need to go to their full technical support. Now they do have in-app help, which is good. If you go to your help thing here, you can get some contact us information. You get the information really easily. Their phone tree is pretty good. Their customer support as a whole is pretty moderate. It has been hard to reach them at times, especially when their system's imploding or maybe their charts are having hiccups across the board. Last time I looked, their forums were terrible. No one used them. That could it be different now? Not that I really use forums too much, but there aren't too many fantastic videos out there. They did put some videos out there themselves on their website, so they do try to help you and try to answer your questions before you even have them, which is good. They're not the best, but there are a lot of users out there as well who put out their own videos. I would say, they're in the middle of the road in terms of the industry. Trading platform support is not the best out there, in my opinion, as a whole. They do have in-app support. That's actually kind of nice. Some trading platforms don't. If you want help, you're going to have to call them with some of these trading platforms. So keep that in mind. If you want that ease of live support and live tech support, and if I want to pull up chat rooms and things like that, it's actually kind of easy. So that is something to take into consideration. And, with all that taken into account, we might be a little harsh on them, but we give their customer support a B-. I could argue that this could probably be a B, B+. Like I said, this part's a little subjective because it's based on our limited experiences with their customer support. They have people that try to be helpful and knowledgeable. Sometimes, it's been a struggle getting the information we needed. It happens all over the place, but I would say they're at least industry standard here. It's not bad at all. So before I dive into some of the nuts and bolts of the platform itself, let's take a little brief view here. Where are we with this platform? Well, we're actually looking pretty good. Our customer support's okay. API custom coding, it's there. They do lack on a lot of the day trading aspects. If you notice a trend there, a lot of these are kind of the speed day trader things, hotkeys, share locates, executions. And other than that, they actually do a pretty good job. And you can customize and you can do a lot with the platform. So now what what I want to do is I want to actually take some time and I want to go through the platform itself, because there's some cool things on this platform in my opinion. You can do some pretty nifty stuff on ThinkorSwim, and there's a couple things I want to highlight about the platform itself. And this is going to be kind of wrapping it all up and putting a bow on it. This is the platform. You've already seen it, and they've got kind of the general tabs up here. Your monitor tab will help, keep track of your orders, and you can pop any of these out and move them and resize them as you wish, which is nice. It's not the most intuitive. It's a little clunky these days, but it's not the worst thing out there by far. You can get into this trade system and you can look at your options chains, and the options chains are actually very visually friendly. It's very easy to go in here and say, well, what are the SPY options trading at? And then I can wait. I could go to the weeklies or the monthlies and I can trade through there. They have some interesting stuff with Forex and futures. I want to mention that. You can trade Forex on here. Some platforms, they're a little iffy with that. I believe Robinhood doesn't even allow that, but I could be wrong. But look, you can get a pretty customizable, friendly system on here for sending your orders with Forex. That's definitely a big plus there. In terms of futures, you can do the same thing. You can trade with futures. You can set up a nice complex window here, set up some orders. So you do have that customization. That's really nice. They have some pairs trading. So if you want to, say, buy this one and sell this one, or, do a basket of some kind, they do try to help you with that. That's something that's, it's nice, and it's good to know that it has. Now, let's talk about, analyze. You can do some cool stuff in here. I can get in here and say I want to, pull up an option. Say I bought this one. I could get in here and do some risk profiles. I can do some profitability analysis. If you do, butterflies or some complex option strategies, you can try to get a little fancy with it in here, and it'll try to give you that good probability curve and really try to help you understand your trade. If this looks foreign to you, don't worry about it. This might be something you want in the future if you eventually get, really good and complex with some of your option strategies or something like that. But it's kind of good for, it's something that the platform is pretty good at and intuitive with. So that's always good to have. In terms of economic data, it's pretty easy to get that stuff. They do give you the fundamental data that you want. That's actually kind of nice. So if I go into the fundamentals and I pull up Apple, I can actually get a little bit of information in here. And it was really easy to find. That's definitely going to be part of it, is how quick and how easily I can pull this information up. I was able to get to some of these annual numbers, the quarterly numbers, their valuation highlights. I get some analyst opinions and all sorts of stuff on here, what's driving the stock in their opinion. It's actually kind of cool. So if you're new and you're still trying to figure out how to do research and how to find some of this information, this might not be a bad place to start, because you can get a lot of this and you can find a lot of this and you can get some of their research team's opinion, and you can actually find some info on there. Really, really nice. In terms of earnings, same kind of deal, same kind of deal with the fundamental, and you can look at, well, did they meet expectations, miss expectations? You actually get a visualization of that. Really, really nice. Something else I wanted to show. In terms of their scanners, stock scanners and filters, they're okay. They're okay. They're definitely not the best in the industry. I'm not going to sit here and say, oh my God, this is the most mind-blowing thing I've ever seen. It is decent. You can get in here, you can manipulate some things, volume, ask size. Their RVOL. I don't even think they have RVOL, but you can put some things in here to filter and scan and try to find yourself some custom scans and filters. But it's not the best. There are better platforms out there for this, but if you're just looking for some beginner things or you want to toy around with some stuff, this might still give you what you want. They have their sizzle index, whatever the hell that is, and they do have some pre-built ones. I have no idea how to find them, honestly, but they have pre-built scanners and filters that you can get in there and maybe see what some of the top movers and such are. And look, you can put your watch list on the side. You could probably put some of those scanners on the sidebar, so you can customize a little bit and get a little funky with it, but it's okay. It's not the best out there by far, but it might be all you need. There's also filters you can do with options, which is actually really cool. I don't know a lot of platforms that do that, so it's definitely a check in their in their box. Not the best, but it's out there. And they have some other stuff that you can do. If I want to set alerts, I can set my alerts in here. I can do some other interesting stuff in here, get some heat maps. This is all just kind of bells and whistles at this point. This isn't really related to trading. Before I lose you, if you're still watching this, there is one aspect that I want you to know about, and that is on demand. This right here is the coolest thing about this platform. One of the coolest things about this platform, in my opinion. I love this thing. I love that they do this. I think this is incredible. I just turned this on. I can go back, say, a couple months ago. I can do this. I can go to my charts, and I can say pull ups. Well, let's pull up Tesla. Why not? So it's buffering. And look, again, sometimes ThinkorSwim might take a little time. It's usually actually not this slow, but they're trying their best. Let's try going to a different date. Let's go to August 26th. This, oh God, well, this is actually post-split. So this is a good example of their charts can get kind of funky. Let's pull up a different stock. Bank of America, who cares? No one day trades this stock anyway. But I can go in here and I can do this. This is what Bank of America was doing at this point, at August 26th of this year at 350. I can play it and actually watch the stock kind of trade along. And so I could do this with the SPY, pull up the SPY here. And so I can watch the SPY. This is the SPY's trading on this day at this time. I could go years back and watch a trade unfold. So if there was a trade that I saw after the fact and I was like, man, I wonder how that traded. I wonder if there's something to learn here. You can go back and watch it happen live. You can, I think in some cases you can actually like execute fake trades while you're doing this and trade along with it. Now, obviously you want to make sure you don't use this to backseat yourself and do something stupid like that. But that's actually really cool that you could do this. You can go back and you can look at how the options traded or how this setup happened or what the speed of this move was. Was this actually something that looked that good in the time? And you can go back and look. I think that is really cool. It's a feature that they have that I don't even know if any other platforms do this really to this extent or that easy. It was that easy to do. I have $5 in this trading account. I'm able to use all of this without having to put up any money, without having to trade on this. I can use their platforms. I can use their on-demand, their API, their studies and software. I can use everything, and it's great. And so they do have some things on this platform that can really help you. They have some tools and some educational pieces on here. I can't speak to that, but what I can speak to are the charts. I can speak to on-demand, and I can speak to some of the features, the bells and whistles that this platform has. And now, overall, I'm going to give this platform a B-. Now, I'm looking at this and I'm like, yeah, this might be a little harsh on them. I'm trying to look at this from a day trader centric perspective. And they're not the best at day trading, but they are good at some other things. They have some really cool bells and whistles. So I want to make sure you know about that because it's really, really cool. And they have some cool stuff out there. Their platform is, as a whole, pretty good. I would say it's, for the things that they do well, they do really well. And the things they don't, they really don't. It's gotten kind of shaky in terms of connection lately. We've had dropped issues where the charts weren't working for several hours during the day. That was very frustrating. So that's definitely weighing on my mind as those recent experiences. I'm trying to stay objective here. And the charts are kind of clunky and they're kind of being caught up to in competition. Executions are meh. They're very good, in my opinion, for multi-monitor users. If you are a single monitor user, it probably isn't the best for you. And the platform can be integrated into other software sometimes, but it can be shaky. Look, ThinkorSwim is decent. They're not terrible by any means. You can make money trading on ThinkorSwim. There is nothing wrong with this platform by any means. It is not the best at some things. If you want to be a swing trader, this might still be the platform for you. If you don't need some of those bells and whistles and ins and outs, if you don't trade low float stocks and so you don't need share locates, you might be fine then. And this might be the ideal platform for you. This is the ideal platform for some people. For me, I use it for the charts. I use it for on-demand. I use it for a couple of the other bells and whistles. Maybe one day I'll try day trading on this one again, but right now it's just not necessarily for me. So I'm going to leave it there. This went a little longer than I wanted. We hit about 30 minutes, but I really wanted to make sure you at least had a general understanding of ThinkorSwim because, look, let's face it, there's a lot on here. There's a lot of lights and flashing bells and whistles and things you can do, and the charts are good, but, it's going to take some time to learn, and, like trading, it's all going to take time. Open up a paper trading account, give it a chance, throw $5 into an account, give that a chance, whatever you want to do, or move on to one of the other trading platforms. There's so many options out there. You need to find what's best for you because you need to be as comfortable and as familiar with your platform when you're day trading. I'm going to end it there. I hope that this was helpful and informative. Be sure to check out some of our other trading platform reviews. I'll be sure to put out more within the next week. there's a lot that's changing out there, and regulations could change. Some things with this platform could change, but we want to make sure that you at least have a general understanding. There's so much other content out there covering this platform, so if you need to know more, just hit Google, hit some of the forums. If you have any questions, drop them in the comment section. I will do my best to try to answer. Drop a like if you really like this video. I'd really appreciate it. And follow us on Twitter and Facebook and Instagram at /Vant Trading for all of our stock callouts and updates. This was Nick from Vant Trading. I appreciate you for tuning in, and as always, safe trading.